very special warrior online with us. It's Jodie Sawyer. Jodie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. We're so excited to get into your journey because some of your journey is very new at the moment with recovering from your surgeries. So keen to talk all about that. And our first question is always, how did you come to learn of lipedema and when was it?
So mine is a strange one. I was doing what I always do, dieting and exercise. I wasn't losing mainly of my bottom half. And I had sent a picture of myself in shirt and underwear to a friend of mine just saying, like, I can't lose anything off my legs. And it was funny. I said to her, don't show this picture because obviously it's a bit embarrassing. And then she messaged me the following day. And she was like, I actually showed your picture to some friends of mine. And one of them was like, she's got lipedema. And so that was, I think, about 5 years ago, maybe in 2000. And so I was just like, huh? I don't know know what that is. I have to Google it to see what you're talking about. But when I Googled it, and looking, I didn't really read what it was, just looking at the images. And then I was like, no, I don't have that.
Yeah, because
So,
the images are stage 3 and 4.
yeah. Yes. So it was confusing. So I don't know. I just sort of brushed it off for ages, actually, like another year or so. And then, of course, I wasn't talking about it or anything, but of course, I kept having things pop up on my Facebook. So then I went down to Miami to see Dr. Lekic and get a diagnosis, basically. So that's pretty much
When
how
did
I
you
came
get
across it.
diagnosed?
2021.
Yep. So
So
you've sort of
yeah,
sat on it for a few months, like a year sort of thing, or
yeah, pretty much, because when I was looking at the pictures, I didn't really read, just the Google blurb. But when I was looking at the pictures, I was like, oh, I don't really look like that. So I just was like, what are your friends talking about? Basically, because my friend's friend had said, oh, she's got lipedema. So
It is
yeah, it
really
turns
true.
out I did.
And it presents so differently. I was saying to Tiana earlier, I went to a conference on the weekend and there were 4 of us from Lipedema Australia and we all present so differently. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I don't have, I was even questioning myself after all this time. Like, what are we going to call the podcast now?
Yes. It's so true, though.
Yeah.
It's
so
like, who
how
made this
how
thing
do
up?
you think your presentation, looking back now that you have all of this knowledge, because it's been a lot of time, how do you think your presentation was different to what you saw on the screen when you Googled lipedema?
I think when I was looking at the images, because how do you explain it? Because you know how you've got the pockets, the extra sort of pockets on the legs? Because
Yeah.
back then because I didn't have any of that. That sort of made me think, yeah. And then I didn't really pursue it very much further. I didn't look through at any other photos because, as I know now, there's a lot of different images.
Yeah.
And then when I did look through, and then I thought, "Oh," but like you just said before, Shell, it's like you might look a little bit like it, but you also don't. So it's kind of like nobody really looks the same, even though we're similar. So then I don't know. I just kept having the ads pop up on my Facebook. And it was funny because I was Googling, but not often.
The algorithm
So
got you.
That's clever.
yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to, ring them up and see what's going on.
And the process of diagnosis, so Dr. Lekic has a very distinct process. How did you find, how did you feel when you got diagnosed, when you went through that process to diagnose it?
Yeah, so he was really good. He goes through it quite extensively, just talking about you basically from not birth as such, because as it doesn't present. And then he had me stand up, take off my pants, sort of looked all over, arms, abdomen, my backside and things like that. And then just with the history, just talking about basically me when you're exercising, dieting, just your general things. When he had said that I did have lipedema, I know it's really weird because I wish I didn't, but it still was like sort of like a relief because, again, not that it's a good thing. I don't think anybody's like, please let me have lipedema, but it was just a relief because you kind of see yourself a little bit crazy when you're like, doing 7 days workout and you're eating this and eating that, and then you are losing weight, yes, but you're still looking sort of, well, what I felt was like abnormal. So just knowing that when I was eating bad maybe or not doing things, that I wasn't actually making my body have this sort of strange shape.
Yeah.
So it definitely felt really validating. Obviously, I didn't cry in his room at all. I just left all that to the car and ringing everybody crying and just thinking, I don't know, it was a strange feeling. I don't know why at the time. It was kind of like almost like I don't know, adrenaline excitement rush. Don't know why, because I'm not excited about it, but just like, yeah, I don't know, just a relief to think, oh, okay, what I'm doing isn't wrong, or, you're not doing that to yourself type of feeling.
That makes sense. Yeah, I like the different kinds of emotions. Like there is some adrenaline there is some relief there, and then there's obviously that emotion as well when you release it in the car.
Yes.
It is a bit of a roller coaster. But is your lipedema present? Or before you had your surgeries, where was your lipedema present?
Well, I guess I consider myself blessed that it was present in my full legs, full arms, abdomen, hips, and bum.
We're blessed, love.
Yes. So
They didn't
I
miss
know that
out that.
I know people talk about, obviously I can't talk on this because I'm super new, but surgery regrowth. And I'm like, I think it's already grown everywhere. So I'm not saying it can't regrow in those same areas, but I was like, yeah, I've got it everywhere.
Wow. And so before all of this, had you ever searched for answers to any of your other symptoms? Like, were your legs bruised? Were they heavy? Like, all of those things. Had you ever tried to figure out why?
For me, the only thing that I was really confused about, because you know how a lot of women have that, little bit smaller, little bit big, smaller up top, bigger down bottom. So to me, I didn't think anything of it. I actually thought it was still normal to be, like one size bigger on the bottom back in the day. But I went to my doctor when I was quite small. I think it was maybe probably about 8 years ago, roughly. And I said to her, I've got like a lot of fluid on my knees, because you could push in, she even confirmed just looking at me and touching, I had fluid. And I said, I've got a lot of fluid on my ankles. So for me, that was really all I actually noticed. I think I was still a lot smaller back then, probably like a size 8 to 12. So wasn't really aware of any other symptoms, but it was funny because she sent me for an x-ray. So I went for an x-ray, more so because I've got metal work in my ankle from a prior break. And so the conclusion was that I had what they said, their report said, fluid around the tissue. So I just thought, well, I've got metal work, it's on the ankle where it's carrying your whole body. So to me, I was like, I don't know. And then I went back to her and I said, like, this fluid on my knees, like, it was starting to bother me look-wise, wearing shorts or things that you can see your knees in. And so I just said to her, can I please have some fluid tablets? And she was like, no, because I don't know. You just think fluid, I need some fluid tablets. And she said to me the reason... Yeah, she said the reason I'm not going to let you have them is because, and again, I don't know much about fluid tablets, so I don't know the truth. She said, I'm not giving them to you. You're too young and you'll have to be on them forever. And then I was like, that's okay if it gets rid of my fluid on my knees, because it was just my knees and ankles. It was everywhere, but I just didn't notice it for some reason. So so she didn't give me the tablets, which is probably good. So I've never had fluid tablets.
Looking back now, so you weren't looking for answers because you didn't realize. So when do you think it started to develop?
After that, actually, because I was pumping it so hard I had a personal trainer that I'd do like a home fitness with her, and I used to go to her 6 days a week. And then, doing your own thing as well and eating well. And then we used to do like these 12-week challenges. And so she'd do measurements and weigh you, sorry. And then I just remember her saying to me, you're just not really losing in your legs. They were going down, of course, but not in comparison with where you're losing everywhere else. Because she was asking me, like, are you eating? And, things like that. And then because it just sort of messed with me, I just went the opposite. I was like, oh, well, because nothing's working, I'm just going to eat this and I'm going to eat this and I don't care. And so from that time to now, I helped to progress it by eating so poorly and then not moving my body and not doing anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you could tell it presented like I could tell a lot more then.
Yeah. Yeah. And has there been any other times, like apart from that, not taking care of yourself, like during pregnancies or anything like that, that you think it progressed?
And again, I know it sounds really silly, but I really don't know, because with my first, I was very young. I was 21 when I had my first baby, and I got preeclampsia. I don't know if they call it that still. And so I actually had fluid everywhere, like including my face, neck, my feet were, balloons. And I didn't have that with the next baby. And I don't know, because when I look back now, knowing what it is, looking at photos of me, I could see it and can see the progression. But back then, didn't, as silly as it sounds, I didn't really think anything of it. Just thought that was my body shape, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't know what we're looking for.
Well, exactly right. If you don't know about it, you just think you normalize it. So, a previous guest, it was about their lineage. So, we have what my legs look like my grandmother's or my mother's or my aunties, and you normalize it.
Yeah.
Or the pain, I experienced pain, but I always called it growing pains, or pains from working out, or pains from not working out.
Yeah.
Whatever it was pain, but it's rationalized in some sort of way.
Because we just think it's normal. It's like, it's just that discomfort just becomes a norm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I probably didn't even notice that either. But it's like, once you have your baby and you think, because you do gain weight, even if it's a small amount, you're just so like, oh, well, I gained X amount in my pregnancy, blah, blah, blah type of thing. So, of course, then you've got to lose it. So that was pretty much, the same as me. I was like, I couldn't see anybody. My mum's body is completely different to mine. So I couldn't even say, oh, it's like my mum.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Same. My mum's isn't like mine either. She doesn't have lipedema. So
what made you send your photo to your friend to ask for her advice that day? I'm so curious.
I don't remember. I think probably just out of frustration, because I knew how hard I was pumping it and like running every day, walking every day, doing all these home workouts at the PT's house. And then when I would go and do just my one-on-ones with her, and her saying, okay, we're just working on legs. And then you're like, okay, all good. And then the next week, okay, we're just working on legs. And then I was like, I can't lift these weights. Like, I actually can't do this with my legs. Just because they're big, they weren't these super sumo strong legs compared to everybody else. So then I just, was like, I'm not coming back. I can't do legs. I'm going to have to skip leg day because my legs are dead. Because I don't know if she thought, let's do lots of legs and legs and legs and legs and you'll lose weight in your legs. Because I had people saying to me, you need to stop losing weight. You're starting to look anorexic in your face.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh gosh, I need to eat some more then and just, work on my legs. But obviously we can't. I wish I could say to my body, okay, we're going for a walk and you're losing it from your bum today. Or
Pick the target area.
now tomorrow we're going to work on, belly.
It's all in the mind.
So I haven't mastered, I wasn't able to master that power to
What a
pick
shame.
where I lost it.
Yeah, what a shame.
Well, when you do,
Yeah.
please share the secret.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so after you got diagnosed, Jodie, what then? Did you implement conservative management? And if so, what did you do?
I probably went into meltdown mode as well, but I think I went kind of hardcore. I went straight out and got, the custom flat knit, got some off the shelf as spares, which back then, I mean, you don't know what any compression is. So I asked Dr. Lekic what's sort of like a alternative because, I need to wash them. And as we know now, you've got to wash them each day for you to have that compression because it's not going to last if I'm just wearing them every day. I went out and got, like vibration plates. I'm like, my brain's going blank now because it was so long ago that I can't even remember. And then I just was like, well, I'll never be able to have surgery. So that was pretty much, in my head that I was just angry. Like I was pretty angry that what I felt not to be a cure, I know that, but what I felt to be something that would be super helpful was so out of reach as
Yeah.
I
well.
remember that feeling too.
Yeah. So that was definitely a tough one. And then I just started saving like mad anyway from then because I thought, I don't know, maybe one day I can get one surgery or something. Yeah, so I think it was just the compression. Oh, and obviously, sorry, trying to change what I was putting into my body as well, what I was eating, and just researching more about it, things like that.
Yeah, perfect. So where was the point where you went, surgery's not something that I can do, to then booking your first surgery date? Talk to us about that because I identified it being like surgery's out of reach, but next minute booking a surgery, it felt like next minute booking a surgery. Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk to us about
And
that.
sorry, I forgot to add, and I was doing the MLD as well. So I was talking to the lady. So she used to come out to my house, which was super convenient, especially with work. And she said to me, basically, why do you need me here? What do you want me to do? She was really great. She was very skilled with lipedema and lymphedema and everything. So she just went through my history and stuff. And thankfully, when I had gone for my diagnosis, I had been told then on the spot, you will need skin removal. And he explained to me, like, your thighs skin will actually overhang down over your knees to your calf type thing. So I was talking to her about I couldn't do, X amount of surgeries and then have to go look somewhere to pursue getting skin taken as well, being a separate surgery, additional costs and things like that. And she was fantastic. She just said to me, have you, like I go to all of the conferences and everything and I watch different surgeons speaking and things like that. And then she actually had said to me, because I hadn't heard of anybody to be fair. And she said to me, have you heard of Ramin Cheyenne? And I was like, I don't know anybody type thing. And then, I just started sort of stalking on Facebook, other ladies that had gone and had already had surgery and just learning that he was doing the both in the one, the liposuction and skin excision. And then I was like, right, I have to do this. And then I reached out to them also for consults and telehealth and all of that. And then I already had said yes to him. Let's book the surgeries, like moving forward after having my consult, which was fantastic as well. And then in my brain going, oh, so obviously we'll have to pay for this. I've gone and booked 3 surgeries with him. And mine was quite a weight. Depending with Ramin, it depends on the individual, depends on how ready your body is, basically. So for me, in one good thing was I was definitely not surgery ready. I wasn't able to have it before 18 months. And I had sort of just things that I needed to do first. So that enabled me to just every spare penny, just save and save. And I didn't care that I was sacrificing not going and doing things, going on a family holiday, things like that. I was like, no, surgery, surgery, surgery. So by the time it came around, I think it was probably 2 and a bit years in total. So I'd already started a small kitty, but definitely not enough to pay for the 3 surgeries I'd already booked and got dates for and got quotes. Like everything was ready to roll. And then, that was pretty much.
Tested it really, you booked it and then
Yeah.
put in all the effort, but your mindset was so clear. You're like, you made that happen for yourself.
Yeah. Every time anybody invited me places, I was just like, no, can't do anything. I'm saving for surgery.
Come over with a pizza. Your share.
Yeah. Yeah, unless it's your shout, of course. Yes, I'll go to, America. So I've had 4 so far. So I've had my
What a
first
fun.
was I had arms first, and then Remin does legs separate. So I did left leg and then right leg. And then I had another a week after my right leg. We didn't do my forearms because I've got quite a lot in the forearms as well. And so we've just done the 4th one was just one of the forearms because I'd already had my leg done. It was just a bit too much because the surgeries with Remin are quite massive just to give me one arm that worked fully, which was great.
Yeah, but I mean, initially I was thinking, why didn't he just do both? And then when you explained that you really need to have at least one arm available, especially after your leg surgery, because the compression wear and mobility and everything, like, it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was so grateful because I was begging him, please do both the forearms. I can't just have one. And he's so fantastic that he obviously didn't listen to me, which I was still sad about. Even the nurses knew, because I was like, he's only going to do the one forearm. And they were just like, just talk to him. But he looks at everything from a safety perspective. Even if I say do my entire body in one go, which, I mean, maybe it's doable, he is going to weigh up your safety.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so you said that you had 4 so far. Does that mean there's something else on the horizon?
Yes. So I know that I'm crazy and I've already had so many this year, but I've got one more this year to go. I'm booked in for October and I'm having abdomen. So I feel like that's probably my scariest one, even though Ramin assures me it pretty much is as big as what my leg surgery is because of the incisions and just the work he does. So I'm hopeful. I do trust him very much. He's absolutely great. I'm hopeful that it will only be as tough as the leg then.
Yeah.
So I
will
will
it
have.
be, it'll be
Sorry.
skin like a tummy tuck?
Yeah, basically, I think they call it.
Well?
Yeah, I think it's
Is
called
that correct? Yeah.
abdominoplasty.
Abdominoplasty. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they'll do because I've had babies and the muscles separating. Then they do muscle repair, and I've heard that's super tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he'll hopefully still do. He'll also do my other forearm, the one missing one that we haven't done at the same time.
No, I was gonna ask, yeah, is he gonna include that forearm for you?
Yes, and I will not let him. which is probably used to me. I'm like, don't forget, we still need to do the forearms.
Yeah.
But my
This is
legs
still waiting for you.
were.
When he's drawing you up.
Yeah. Excuse me, I think you forgot something.
So with all your surgeries now, what conservative management do you still do? Do you do anything to relieve symptoms, or are you symptom free?
So I'm still wearing compression. So I'll wear my leg compression and arm compression, even though I think I'm about 7 or 8 months post arms. I think I can't quite remember. It was in November. We're about 8 months maybe. And I'm currently 8 weeks for my right leg. So I've still got tenderness in it. But apart from that, the aching that like I would go to sleep with, because I would normally go to like, maybe I didn't notice it so much through the day because I work full time and I'm busy. But the achingness that I would normally, when you've stopped, you know, you're not doing all your tasks or, you know, your house tasks, whatever you're doing, dinner and stuff, going to bed and you're just chilling and resting. So I definitely have noticed that I definitely still have lipedema in my legs, but I'm not laying there with just that sort of ache throb.
So it has been.
And yeah, so it's definitely helped. My arms, I actually don't think I was very symptomatic with my arms, except for if, you know, you have to have your arms sort of up in the air for a time for whatever reason you're doing. I'd get
Walking
sort
on
of
the line.
fatigue. Yeah. So I just feel like a fatigue in them. So I don't recall having like any sort of aching or throbbing or anything similar to how the legs felt.
What about blood
But
pressure
yeah.
for you when you got your surgery, getting your blood pressure done with the cuff?
Sorry, what was that?
When you go to the doctor getting your blood pressure taken with the cuff, did that ever hurt?
Yes.
Yeah, because I find that to be quite excruciating. And I never
So
knew
that,
something from lipedema.
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably the only symptom then really, apart from feeling a bit of fatigue when you'd have your arms up. So when they check my blood pressure now, it doesn't hurt me and they have to go and usually change the cuff. So I've got
Wow.
like the small cuff and with the small cuff, I've got all this extra cuff that I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So yeah, so that actually doesn't hurt. I'm like, oh, sorry, you're going to have to get a kid's one. No,
Size it down. Size
because
it down.
it used to do, you know, they put it around because they've got the different sizing. They'd put it around and then you hear it, it's like almost going to explode. And they'd hold it on my arm. And I'd just be like, my gosh, please stop, because it is quite excruciating. And I didn't have any blood pressure reads in my arms during the surgery naturally. That was done on my legs. So that's actually more painful, I found, because they couldn't compromise my arms and then prior to the surgery, as in the day of, and then obviously after, because he had done the skin excision, Yeah, they were doing it on my calf. And I just, every time they used to come in, I'd be like, oh my God, can I just die, please? Instead of you doing it on my calf. Because that's just really painful.
Yeah, I've never had a blood pressure taken anywhere else but my arm, but I could imagine that post-surgery.
Yeah, no, the leg, that was before leg surgeries and stuff. I just thought, my gosh, I thought that my arm hurt, but the leg was like a next level. And I mean, they only did it because they didn't have the arms to use.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And good that they were thinking about that, honestly. I couldn't
Thankfully,
imagine.
that would hurt a lot, actually.
Yeah. Oh,
Your
my
arm might have bloated.
Oh, yes.
Think,
Imagine
yeah.
building. Go, oh,
Yucky.
And then the
Well,
arm rips
how are you
open.
feeling about this journey so far? You're like still in the thick of your surgical journey and you've only got one more to go. How are you feeling? Like mentally?
It's a lot.
Lot.
It really is a lot. I know from prior to me even knowing I could have any surgeries, and you think there's almost like a sense of, not like a jealousy of watching people go through that and you want it so bad, thinking that's going to fix everything and it's so easy and they're just a bit bruised and now they're fine. But it's not like that. It's so rough. It's tough, but it's also mentally, because afterwards, I think sadly, I go in with like an expectation. You think you're going to come out and look like a woman that doesn't have lipedema. And then even though there's such a dramatic change and you're so grateful and I'm moving better and things, in your head, you still look, and I'm still slightly mentally, that's where I think it's such a challenge. And you just think, I still look a bit different, and I just pick and pick and pick, even though I'm so grateful and so happy that I've done it. But the surgeries, especially like with Ramin for my surgeon, the surgeries are really tough. They're so rough. I've never had to monitor such enormous wounds, and hoping that the entire leg wound, will close up, because then you might have this little area that's playing up a bit. So that emotionally is really hard. I think that's probably the hardest. And I personally travel, so I'm in Queensland, so I'm traveling interstate to him. And I'm doing all the surgeries by myself. And then I'll have a family member fly down when I'm leaving hospital. So that side of things is really tough, because I can't just get my whole family, to fly into state to visit me, things like that. So that is, that's really tough. The surgery physically is tough, but mentally, yeah. And then prior to me, the lead up, when I go to have surgery, people probably should avoid me, because I go into like a meltdown stress mode 2 weeks prior for the whole 2 weeks.
And you're preparing yourself, and everything else just needs to fall the wayside because you're mentally preparing for this hard thing. And I can identify with that.
Yeah.
That you need everything else to sort of go away and disappear while you just think about what you're going to be going through.
Yes. And I actually the last 2 times I make myself sick, as in I get a head cold because I'm stressing so much. And I know that even though I feel fine and I'm like, yeah, I'm pumped, I'm doing this, I can't wait, I'm going for surgery, I don't know. The other part of my brain is like, hang on a minute, I'm scared to death.
Of course.
And so yeah, so that's really tough, those 2 weeks. And like my partner will say to me, we're just not married, we've been together for 100 years. He will just be like, oh my gosh, can you just go to Melbourne already?
Get out of my face.
And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I just need to cry, don't I? So I have to say to them, look, just ignore everything I say and everything I do. And I go into kind of like a OCD mode where I'm just nonstop cleaning my house. Like, as in, they put a cup down and they go to the fridge to get something, and I've already packed their cup away. And they're just like, can you just go away? Hopefully.
A good message that, your perception of what surgery is from what you'd seen from other people was go into theatre all excited, come out, have a bit of a bruising, and then you're right. And then you lived the reality of multiple surgeries, and it's actually an incredibly taxing time. And I think that, the community really needs to hear that it's not a quick fix. And we are very privileged if we can afford to get surgery, but it doesn't mean that it's not hard work. Like, it's not a hard thing.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's very taxing on the body physically, pretty much straight after, not just the pain, ignoring the pain, you're going to have the pain, especially for the skin excision and a massive wound. But just doing a simple task, getting up to brush your teeth, and then me feeling like, my goodness, I actually need to sleep for 2 hours before I brush my hair.
Yeah, totally. Very taxing.
It's exhausting, and it's very depleting as well, energy-wise.
That's fair. And so, you've got another one in a couple of months, and then hopefully you're all done. what do you see yourself doing in terms of conservative management that's something that's like second nature to you now that you're going to take on for the rest of your journey?
Well, I'm definitely watching what I eat. I'm not beating myself up and, not going to have this and I'm not going to touch that. Just actually learning to have things in moderation, mostly healthy. So now that I actually can physically walk, which is a huge goal that Ramin and I had spoken about in my very first and second telehealth together, that my goal was just for me to get out and, walk around the block without ringing somebody and saying, I need an ambulance. Can you come and get me?
Yeah.
Which is a bit extreme. No, I just used to feel like my ankles would snap, my knees are going to snap. So I'm able to go out and walk. I've been cleared for about 6 weeks now. And I'm just building the distance and things, but I'm actually able to do that. So I definitely want to stick to that, stick to just being cautious of what I'm eating and drinking, wearing the compression. I'd love to have days. I'm still too early. I'm still very much in swelling season. I'd love to be able to have days where I can go without mainly the leg compression. I can go without the arms. So that's definitely something I'd love to do.
Yeah.
And but I'm so grateful that I can actually get out and walk with my dog, which is it's a free thing to do. It's such a simple task to do that was so out of reach for me. And now I'm like, look at me, everybody, like I've just done, 3 kilometers type of thing. My family's probably just like, that's great. Look at my step.
Yes. Yeah. And you'll be able to see, your progression is so tangible because you can see that with that data. Like, oh my gosh, I reached this amount of steps and I haven't been able to do that since surgery.
Yeah. It's also a little bit of a not scary, I don't know what word I would use, where because it's all out of pocket, nothing's funded except your hospital stay, basically, that I'm just like, I have spent tens of thousands of dollars. I can't go backwards. I've got to keep going forward. So I'm definitely in that momentum now. I'm hopeful that will just become something that I do, like second nature, like, getting up and having a shower, going to work type of thing, that it'll be, okay, I'm home from work, I'm getting changed, I'm going for a walk now.
It's a big investment. So you got to look after it.
Yeah. Definitely. There's so much aftercare.
We have come to the end, my darling. So we're going to ask you our favourite last question.
Beautiful.
If you could go back and give your younger self a pep talk, what would you tell her?
Gee, that is a tough one. I think not be so hard on yourself, not have expectations that you have to look like somebody else or be somebody that you're not, and that you are still normal, no matter what your body looks like or what your body's doing. Because there's so many different conditions as well that do harm people's bodies the same as lipedema does. And just not focusing on, I've got lipedema type of thing. Just knowing, just you're not lipedema. I'm not lipedema, basically. And that I can still live. And I think the hugest is just stop being so hard on yourself and mean to yourself. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful message.
Love that.
And agree. Yeah, you are not just lipedema. Jodie, thank you so much for telling your story today.
Yeah.
And all the best for your next surgery, which is only a few months away.
Yes. And thank you both so much as well. I'll definitely keep you updated on the belly.
Yes.
Yes,
Please do.
Take care of yourself, Jodie.
Bye.
Thank you. You too. See ya.
Yay.
The Lipedema Podcast 2025 is powered by Elegance Lymphatic Care. Lipedema and its symptoms vary from individual to individual. The opinions and advice voiced in this podcast are of a personal nature and used for educational purposes.
Please take away from this podcast what resonates with you, and please see your GP or preferred specialist for diagnosis and healthcare. We are Shelley and Tiana from the Lipedema Podcast. Until our next episode, bye for now.